welcome back. Still continuing the series here on the Dynaco Mark III rebuilds, and as you can see, I've got the transformers laid out here for each one. You know, kind of the power transformers and the audio transformers on each one. And you can tell they're different vintages. These have the kind of plastic covered wires. These are all the older cloth covered wires. So, but if you remember, those 2 amps were 2 different vintages. But nonetheless, these are both good quality stuff, good old iron. And the you can see the 8 end bells here that all turned out. I think they turned out really, really nice. They this chocolate color that the amps are going to be. I think these things will look really good in there. So we're going to get these put together. Probably can't do that with the camera in the hand, and I want to clean these up just a little bit of I would say just old junk, dirt and dust that's gotten inside these things over time. Clean them up with a brush a little bit and get them put together here real quick. Okay, as you can see here, these things just sandwich in between 2 of the end bells. I took the ends to all the screws and the bolts and the bolt itself, took them over to the grinding wheel and kind of polished up the ends on them, and we get these things put together and bolted up here, looking good. Okay, as you can see here, I used a kind of a brass brush, cleaned up the laminations a little bit here. They had some rust going on, and just put just a little bit of flat black paint on these things to cover up any of the discoloration where the rust was at. So I'll let these dry good, and then we'll get the other 2 done and get them back in the shop and get the end bells put on them. Alright, we got the transformers back in from being painted at this point. As you can see, they look really good. All the rust is gone at this point, and the black laminates look great. Always use a high temperature paint when you're doing this, and I typically use a flat black. Seems to have a lot less chance of running, and it just kind of looks more like the originals did when you get done with it. But we're gonna get these things all put back together. And we've got 2 of them put together at this point. These are some dang sexy transformers, I'll be honest. I think the you know, kind of the flat black and the chocolate brown just really look good together. Couldn't be any happier. Gotta get these. Just to give you a feel for how to feed transformer wires through those, you just kind of bundle them together. Start with the longest ones as far out as you can, and you kind of start feeding them through the hole here, and you work your way up, and then you kind of get the shorter ones in there, and then you bring the end bell all the way back around and snap it over the end of the transformer. Alright, we've got all 4 transformers assembled at this point. I still need to kind of torque down the screws to the right amount of pressure on each side. I kind of wanted to balance and do that, but you can see these things turned out quite nicely. You know, when you first saw them, you thought, wow, maybe I should have bought some new transformers. These things look old and kind of beat up, but they all tested out good, and they look great, and I think they're probably better than anything made today. So we're going to roll with them. Alright, got the transformers in here on the bench. Going to get them mounted onto the chassis here, and have to clean these chassis good. I will tell you, I'm going to start using, you know, I usually use like a Teflon board here. It's just a cooking board. You can buy it about any, I think I picked this one up at TJ Maxx or Marshall's in the cooking section for like $10. What I like about it is you can spin stuff around really easily and work on your bench with it. It's almost like a lazy Susan because this thing's so easy to move around. But I'm just not wanting to get these transformers scratched up, so I'm going to start laying a towel down and working with a towel on top of this going forward. But let's go ahead and get these transformers kind of laid up on here and mounted. You can see here we've kind of got the A431 transformer here and the P782 transformer here. So if I was to turn this laid just like that, then you would end up with the somewhat narrow transformer right here mounted, and we will end up with the thicker transformer mounted right here. Okay, starting to put the bolts in for the transformers. I'm using number 8 32nd by 3/8 inch little stainless steel, but they're black oxidized button head screws. I think they look great. And I'm using these number 832 K-locks that are stainless. I get most of my supplies from albanyfasteners.com, and I keep a large assortment of this kind of stuff on hand. As you can see down in here, that they bolt up great and look really good and clean. And then I'll show you from the other side once I get them mounted. And as you can see here, they turn out quite nice on the other side. Really happy with how they end up looking when they bolt down, and they do a really good job holding the transformer. You know, from the bottom side here, you've got nice screws in place. You know, it's the little details that make all the difference in the world at the end of the day, I believe, on building something. It's just like taking the time to use a copper brush and kind of sand these down and paint them up, and taking the time to clean the wax off these wires that was all over the place, etc. I think makes all the difference in the world. Okay, really starting to look good. Look like a set of amplifiers now, and I absolutely love these chocolate covered cases that we did. We picked a really good color here. It's, you know, it's not traditional Dynaco color, but hey, these are kind of a custom set of amps anyway, in the spirit of the old Dynaco Mark IIIs. So really happy with how these things are looking. And even the best of us make mistakes, so I'm having to undo this transformer. Let me show you why. This choke mounts right here, and the choke, the bolts come down from the top, and that's actually underneath the transformer, so I got to drop that transformer just a hair. I'm not going to pull the wires all the way out. I just got to drop it just enough to get the screws up in there and get this choke mounted in here and tightened up. Okay, up next, this is the bias kits that I bought, and it's designed to replace the selenium rectifier. And as you can see, it comes with a couple of terminal strips and capacitors, some resistors, and etc. diodes. But it comes with little screws here, and I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use the black 4-40s. And what each one comes with is two little terminal strips. One's a 2-lug and one's a 3-lug. And what I'm trying to do at this point, the reason I went ahead and opened this kit, I'm trying to get all the pieces mounted in here at this point, so that once I start wiring, all the components that need to be mounted down physically are intact. So if you look at this little diagram that comes with it, it shows putting the 3-lug right here, and there's an existing hole right here from the factory. And then the 2-lug will go right here, and there was an original hole right here as well where the selenium rectifier mounted. If you kind of look over here on this, you can see it had the 3-lug here, and then you had a hole here for the selenium rectifier. We're really replacing that selenium rectifier with this little 2-lug kit right here. But if you just follow this little diagram, it'll walk you right through it. And we got them both mounted in now. And the reason this one goes at an angle like this is actually the little snake path right here for your cables or your wires that'll come over here to the tubes. So if you kind of turned it this way, it cuts you off, and if you turn it the other way, it cuts you off from being able to feed down through here. So nice little cable path there, but yeah, looking good. Okay, as you can see at this point, we've got everything physically mounted. Got the 2-terminal strip here, the 3-terminal strip here. We've got the fuse holder here. Believe it or not, I forgot to order new fuse holders, so I went back to the original amps and pulled off the 2 that were on them. Took the wire wheel brush to them. As you can see, they look like brand new. So something from the early 60s, mid-60s turned out quite well. But got them all cleaned up and mounted in here, and looking real good. I do want to ping the customer and ask them about this, because if you remember, we're replacing the entire capacitor that was right there, basically with this board, which will end up mounting. I can't remember. It was right here. Ends up mounting right along in here. Any rate, I don't know whether he wants to mount an original, an old stock, you know, dead capacitor can in place, just so that the can's there. Or if you just rather have the no can there, I could actually probably put a cover or something over that. But we'll see what he wants to do. But I'm going to mount this later because I want to get this wiring here all done and cleaned up nicely. So tell you what I'm going to do. Everything I do at this point is going to be basically soldering at this point. So I'm going to pause right here and wrap this video up to keep these things from getting too long. Get this one posted, and then my goal is to have this thing completely running this weekend, and any tweaks needing to be done to it, and then we'll kind of get the other one going maybe next weekend, the weekend over right after Thanksgiving. Let me flip it over and let you see the top side. Okay, as you can see, the chassis, I'm just using a little polishing cloth. This thing cleans up beautifully. It's prone to picking up fingerprints, as you have seen, but yeah, you can see all the nice little black pan head screws. Like this one I think was for one of those terminal strips, and you see the ones holding down the transformer. I'm just a really big fan of using high quality bolts and whatnot to hold stuff together. Looks so much better than the old pan head chrome plated or zinc screws. You can see the nice potentiometer mounted in here. The board's mounted up nicely. I'm really happy with how they're turning out. Looking really good. Thing weighs a ton. I need to go throw that thing on the scale and see what it weighs. But right now it's quite a heavy little beast. But thanks everybody for watching. We'll keep chugging along. Probably another 2 videos in this series would be my guess. Maybe 3. But 1 to get it all soldered up, 2 start testing it, and then maybe a 3rd one I'll just do a quick one making the other amp and putting it all together. But thanks everybody. Keep watching. We'll keep making these videos. Having fun doing them.